Welcome to today's podcast. My name's Terrell, the Stephen Strange of the ghetto, and I'm here with my guest co-host to my podcast.
Wait, no. You better do a way better intro than that. And I'm not the guest, and this is not your podcast. So let's start, rewind,
Turn that frown upside down. Let's keep going.
take two, because I can't. So I'm Patrice, and this is our podcast, the No Name Podcast right now. And this is episode 2.
Today's episode is about image and branding. And it's for anybody who's looking to get into YouTube, start a small business, or even a podcast. And we have our resident YouTuber here, Patrice, who can give us a lot of tips. So, Patrice, I'm turning it over to you.
All right, so image.
Okay, so let me help her out. So
We were supposed to, that's not what we planned.
when you're starting a small business, you need to think about how the world is going to see you and, the type of people that's going to buy your product and the vision you want to create. So Patrice is somebody who has cultivated an online image. Obviously, she's dusty in real life, but online, I don't know if I want to use the word put together, but she got something going on. Let's say that. So Patrice, what tips would you give to somebody who's starting out in business and, is kind of using social media to get business into their business?
Well, first, you definitely want to identify your business and your brand and where you want to see yourself or your business in the future. So depending on the type of business that you have, you want to make sure that you identify your demographics. So who's going to be purchasing from you? Who's going to be investing in your business? That's the most important thing. So depending on what it is that you are doing and where you see yourself, then you need to model yourself as such.
Okay, so now let's say recently in the news, and I've talked about her a couple times, there's the Catch Me Outside girl, just made $50 million on OnlyFans, bought a $6 million house. And, she's been on the internet fighting people, saying some pretty bad things. Do you think with her image, she would be able to get a sponsorship from someone like Disney?
I don't necessarily think that she's looking for a sponsorship from Disney. So that's what you want to, depending on what it is that you're doing. She's fine with her brand, and she's making a lot of money. She's getting a lot of publicity with what her brand is, and she sticks by her brand. But that may not be for every company, because do you think Disney? You have to look at what the other companies are marketing towards. Disney's marketing towards families and kids. It's very wholesome. So because of that, that kind of takes her a little bit out of that area as far as a company that may be interested in having her. Now, there's companies out there for her, though.
So that's what I was trying to get to. If you have a certain type of image and you're expecting to get a lot of support and a lot of sponsors, you have to know the type of people that's going to sponsor you. So this young lady, she's not going to get Disney. She's not going to get Pepsi. Since I'm sure a lot of the people who are watching this is into crafting, you're not going to get Michaels to, sponsor you. You're going to get people into that. Now, with her, I really don't know what type of people would sponsor her. I'm sure there are some out there.
I mean, depending, maybe like clothing brands may still consider sponsoring her. Maybe certain types of beverages. There could be other online sites. She's built her brand, and she can promote products. So people will look for her and see what she's doing. She is an influencer.
That's a good point. So, do you think you have to be clean, have a clean image to make money?
No.
Okay. What about, do you think all publicity is good publicity?
Depending on what your brand is, depending on what it is that you're looking to do, looking to sell, it depends. Now, some publicity, of course, depending on what it is that you're doing, it may not be favorable, but it is going to put you in the mouths of people because people are going to talk about it. It's going to put you on social media. You may get some hashtags and things like that. So for that, it's publicity. And what I've realized now is that people are a little more forgiving than they were before and accepting of so many different things than in the past. I've seen people come back from a lot of things that we thought were bad publicity, and they were able to bounce back.
That's pretty true. So do you have any tips for marketing yourself?
One, know your brand. Know who you are. Put yourself out there. Definitely, if you're marketing yourself on social media, you want to know major keywords that would make you noticeable to brands and to people, because you're not just marketing to people, you're marketing yourself for business for you and business to come into your own personal business. So market yourself that way online, depending on what it is that you're doing. Again, my brand is a little more wholesome, and it's more so my personality. So some people may not be, it's okay to be a little edgy. You don't have to, fit in one box, but you just have to know what it is that you're selling. So if you're selling things to kids or families, you want to make sure that you kind of represent that when you are marketing yourself and posting content online. That's kind of what I consider is important. But you have to know your audience. That's the most important part of marketing, is knowing your audience. And one tip I could give is just doing market research. See what other companies like yourself, what they're doing, or other brands, because you may be your own brand. See what other brands are doing. Research. See who's watching their products or liking their posts.
Okay, so I have some tips for marketing yourself. I want you to go ahead and say yay or nay, shoot them down if you want. So the first tip I have is pick a niche. What do you think about that?
I think everybody has become in love with the word niche. I really think that's a big thing. And so in some ways I agree, and in some ways I disagree. Depending on what your expertise is in, then you may say, you know what, this is my thing. This is what I'm going to do. You have to find what you're going to be successful in. So if it's one thing and it's like me, I do so many different crafts. So if I know, I make awesome t-shirts, then guess what? I'm only going to focus on t-shirts. But I know for my personal brand, that doesn't make me happy.
Okay, so I know for my personal brand, I know nothing about nothing. So I don't really have a niche. Find your target audience. That's my second tip.
Definitely.
And if you guys are out there and you're also like me and you know nothing about nothing, go ahead and comment, because you're my target audience. Okay, 3, decide if the market is oversaturated. So if you're trying to get popping in something and there's, 1.5 million other people trying to get popping in the same thing, your chances of popping are going to be a lot less. Would you agree or disagree?
Agree and disagree. So I think everybody's so scared of oversaturation. And there is a lot of oversaturation out there, a lot. But you have to find what makes you different. What makes you, and this goes back into knowing your target audience, which was, I think, what was that, number 3 or number 2 on your list?
That is number 2.
So knowing your target.
No free sponsorships.
Knowing your target audience, knowing what sets you apart from everyone else, and working hard for that. Now, you may not seek success right away, but it doesn't mean that it's not coming. And so I don't want anybody to not try to do something or not start a business or make a change because of market oversaturation, because it may be oversaturated, but you're not in it. So definitely give it a try and set yourself apart from everybody else.
Okay, so number 4 on my list is see what others are doing.
You've been looking, I don't even have notes, but I said that already.
Do you guys really think she said that?
I did say that. I said research what other people are doing. You
don't know nothing.
You must have heard me say that before.
All right, so number 5 is create content. So just get out there and start creating. As you can see, this is our second episode. We really don't know what we're doing. No. We're just creating, and hopefully you like it. And number 6, analyze your results and fix your mistakes. So, you're going to ask the people who are viewing your stuff what they think of it, what do they think you can improve on, and, work to make it a better product.
I agree. Have an open mind. Definitely learn from your mistakes. Don't be too hard on yourself, because if you're just getting started, you're not going to be perfect, and you'll probably never be perfect. We'll never have a perfect podcast. I'm with him, so it'll never be perfect. But learn from your mistakes and fix them. Make changes. You may not make that change right away, but work towards making change.
So, I believe that when you're creating a brand, you want to create something that others will pay for and not something that you want or you think you'll only pay for, because a lot of you guys out there are really weird and you will create some weird things and think everybody else is going to be into that. Now, some people will be into your weirdness.
Yes.
But, kind of make it a little universal. You want to get something that people will buy into.
Something that you can market. And then then it's like me. I started one way, and then I come this is the real me.
Yep. And, work with others and self-promote. So those are pretty much my tips. And, one of the things with working with others, I work with Patrice. I know a lot of technical stuff, social media things. Patrice knows how to make T-shirts and teach people how to make T-shirts.
I don't teach people how to make T-shirts. That's not my mission statement.
She knows a lot of stuff about T-shirts, and that's her thing, and I get it. Patrice, do you have anything you'd like to add? Really quickly, also, this is a question for Patrice. Do you think all publicity is good publicity?
We already talked about that.
Did we? Okay, well, we can skip that.
Y'all, this is exactly what happens. He never listens to anything that I say. This is, oh my goodness. You never listen. You never listen.
Okay, so I was on the Verizon website, and don't ask why I was on there. And I found an article that says why businesses fail at social media. I'm going to put the link in, that little link bar, and you press
the description bar.
Yeah,
the description. Oh my goodness. Link will be listed below in the description, y'all.
So we have a list of 4 reasons why businesses fail. 1, they hijack events for self-serving messages. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Sharing inappropriate things with their customers.
Definitely. Sometimes that's how you lose customers. You lose those loyal people who buy into your company. And sometimes people like to say that they share certain things because they are just, they're being open and honest. But some things really do hurt and more than help.
So I think, in the recent climate with people leaning different political ways, sometimes your thought on one subject, half the people that are following you or into, or that are following you may not be into that, and that could create some type of a problem for you, make you lose customers, followers, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So at least for me, I think it's best to stay pretty neutral about things. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you agree with that. I mean, if you feel really, really, really strongly about something,
For certain things, I definitely agree. Some things I feel very strongly about, but certain things, like I don't really like to discuss politics because everyone is different, and that's a right that everybody has, and things like that. I try to stay away from, especially if it's not about your business, because sometimes with social media, we kind of overshare sometimes, and people get a chance to really see who we are. It's so different than how it was in the past, where if you had a business, nobody really got to know the owner of the business or the representatives of the business. And right now, you can pull up anybody, anyone, any registered agent of a company, and you can pretty much pull up their whole life on social media. And so that's the difference between both having a business, in the past and having a business now. And so some things I still think that, it's still personal, and it still should be protected and not judged.
Okay, I agree. So our third thing is not thinking out a campaign. Would you agree with that? That can get you into some trouble.
Yes.
And generating a content backlash. And I guess that's when you create something and, I guess when it's getting promoted, it generates a backlash in how you deal with it after. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can deal with it the right way. Sometimes you can deal with it the wrong way. Accept your mistakes. Some people won't. And that's everything for this article. So, Patrice, I'm handing it back to you.
You have been steering the ship this entire time. What are we talking about now? Just that. Okay, so as far as with image, I pretty much agreed with mostly everything in that article. And what I do know is that you have to be ready and prepared for if you have a situation where you do have to kind of, protect your image. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard sometimes, like not becoming emotional or overreacting. And sometimes it's not even overreacting, just making sure that you have the right response to certain situations. And I've learned how to kind of not react to certain things, especially being on social media, because people will put cruel things, and you may say something or do something innocently, and people may come after you for certain things. And I've learned how to respond, in a way that would protect the image and my brand.
Okay, so I'm cultivating my online image. What do you think's better? Stephen Strange of the ghetto or George Costanza of the ghetto?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Stephen Strange is also known as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we know.
His movie came out yesterday.
Are you going to go see it?
Yes.
Okay, I bet. So I don't know. That's kind of what I have as far as like for image. Yeah, especially when you're getting started. It's your brand. Like you have your brand. You are the person behind your brand. And when it's such, when you're first starting, you are going to be the face of your brand. And so when people see you, that's either going to help or hurt your brand.
Sounds good. So I'm just going to, wrap this up. I want to first thank you guys for joining us. Next week, we are going to announce a challenge. We are still looking for a new podcast name. We got some suggestions. Patrice, would you like to tell us them?
Yes, and I do want to address that one question that we had. And y'all didn't leave us any questions last week. We had one question, so thank you for that one question. And we had 2 podcast name suggestions. We had 3?
Street Life Terrell.
Nobody suggested that. Who suggested that? Tell me.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't count. So we had Moving Forward, and we had the suggestion to just use our initials, P as in Patrice, and T as in Terrell, so P and T, not T and P.
I got one. Young Terrell, and Auntie Patrice.
No, that's not what we're gonna be doing. So we
Terrell,
have
the OG Young Thug.
no. Please leave a comment below letting us know some suggestions. We are going to try to have a name by what? By like the 5th episode?
Let me know if you think I should change my name to OG Young Thug and come up with a mixtape.
Last episode you were Knowledge, remember? Like which one do you want to be?
I wasn't I?
Yes, you were Knowledge last
Well, this
episode.
week I'm Street Life Terrell, aka OG Young Thug.
Every week you're going to be somebody different?
Until I find one that I like. It's all about branding. I'm branding myself to see what works.
I can't. No. But sometimes your brand changes. And you know what? That's a good point to make too, because sometimes your brand changes. And so depending on how your business is going, that's true. Depending on how your business is going, sometimes you may have to adjust and you may have to change things. So, getting started, you don't want to like put yourself in a box and be stuck to one thing. So you might be a little smart sometimes, just a little bit, not much.
All right. So more important from everything she just said, let's move on. You said we had a question.
We had a question. What should I get?
The question was for me, not for her.
The question was, what should I get first, an LLC or a trademark?
I say an LLC.
I agree.
Why?
And
Tell us why, Patrice.
well, an LLC, first of all, they're two different things. They serve two different purposes. So the LLC is you incorporating your business and it protects you against liability. We do plan on having someone on with us in the future to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the difference.
Don't know nothing about it.
We do have someone who can explain to you the legalities and everything because we are limited. I don't want you guys to be taking what we say and just be like, oh yeah, they know exactly what they're talking about.
She had to Google what legalities meant.
No, I didn't. You're such a jerk. No, I do not want you guys to be taking what we say and running with it. So I do want somebody here who has a lot of experience in this area. But I would get my LLC first or incorporate my business first, and then go into getting a trademark, which pretty much, that just identifies your business. That's part of your branding. But the LLC is what makes your business, legit.
Got it. So I think that's it for today.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave it below. Also, if you have any other questions for myself and or
Stephen Strange of the Ghetto,
please leave that below as well. But that's it.
I love you all.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see y'all episode 3.
Peace.